Hello, good evening, viewers, and this is the Lono debates, as we promised you at 19:30, but unfortunately we couldn't make it that time. But the good part is we are here, and we are here to bring you the very best of Lono debates. And today, the motion under discussion today, or rather, the motion for our debate today is the government is to blame for the unproductiveness amongst youths in society. The government is to blame for the unproductiveness amongst youths in society. And you know, a debate is not a debate without panelists. And today we have in our studios a number of panelists. Perhaps let me just say 4 of them. And of course, as usual, we have the government and we have the opposition. So right about now, I'm going to start introducing our panelists, and so that you can get to know them as well as see them. And to begin with, I have with me Mr. Innocent Chanda as our first person to introduce himself. Mr. Innocent, sir, please make your way through to the podium.
It's a good evening to you, our dear viewers. Stay glued so that you enjoy this debate. This will be awesome. This debate will really be awesome as we interact, as we get to educate you about why the government should be blamed for the unproductiveness of the youths in society. Stay tuned.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. That was Mr. Innocent, of course, coming from the opposition, as the opposition running mate, saying the government indeed should be blamed for the youth's unproductiveness in society. What do you think? He says he's here to educate as well as inform. Of course, he is not alone, but with our opposition leader, who is also going to introduce herself, Madam Staffel. Please make your way through to the podium.
Good evening, viewers. As the opposition, this evening we're going to be educating you as to why the government is to be largely blamed for the unproductiveness of youths in our country, in our society, and in the whole world. Thank you. Stay tuned.
Thank you. Thank you. That was the opposition leader, Madam Staffel Banda, telling us that indeed the government should be blamed for the youth's unproductiveness in society. What do you think, viewers? Please tell us what you think in the comment section. And remember to share this live stream to your platforms on Facebook as well as other platforms. Of course, a debate is not a debate if we do not have proposers and opposers. And of course, opposing to this motion is the government themselves, and represented by our very own Madam President, who is no other than Madam Angela Chewe. Please make your way through to the podium and introduce yourself.
Okay, thank you very much. It's a very, very beautiful good evening, and we're so excited to be here, and and trust us that we're going to tell you that the government is really not to blame for any unproductivity amongst the youths, and this is going to be a very, very awesome discussion. Look out for more, and we want to see more of your comments and what you think about this motion in the comment section. Otherwise, you should stay glued and make sure that you enjoy. Thank you.
Thank you so much. That is our president for today, Madam Angela Chewe. Of course, she's not alone, but rather with her vice president, who is no other than Mr. Agre Wapa. Okay, please, Mr. Agre, come through and introduce yourself.
Good evening, members of the House and all the viewers out there. I am your patriotic vice president, Agre Wapamesa. I'm here to clarify in a precisely way, but logical and analytical, that the government shouldn't be blamed for the unproductive youths who have been formed in the society. Thank you so much.
Thank you, thank you. That is the vice president backing up the point of the president, saying indeed the government shouldn't be blamed for the unproductiveness among youths in the society. What do you think, viewers? Tell us what you think in the comment section, and do not forget to share this live stream. Right about now, let us go for a short break, and when we come back, the debate begins.
We show you how the face of Kasama has changed each and every moment. Our production crew has now advanced in streaming live in full HD up to 4K. Lono Studios is well equipped for the service. We have 4K cameras for high resolution, DJI drone for aerial view, live streaming video switcher, gimbal for smooth rotation of an object, and many more equipments. You can book us for live streaming to render your services in sport activities, church services, road shows, corporate meetings and workshops, social gatherings, and many more adventure activities. Book your session now on 0973-173461. Visit or like our Facebook page at Lono TV. Love ain't no bonus.
Yes, you heard it right. Love and nobleness is what we stand for as Lono TV. And welcome back. And like I promised, the debate begins. What do you think? Should the government be blamed for the unproductiveness among its youths in society? Or is it the other way around? Is it that the youths are just unproductive and the government has nothing to do with that? That is what we are going to find out as this debate proceeds. Right about now, our panelists are going to be given 3 minutes to articulate their points, and later on we'll allow interjections and of course questions and answers to be answered on this debate. If you so wish to be part of this debate, remember to just comment in the comment section what you think about today's motion, and we'll be able to read those comments. So right about now, like I said, the debate begins, and I'm going to invite to the front Mr. Innocent Chanda from the opposition, as the opposition running mate, to come and have his 3 minutes and educate us as well as inform us why should the government be blamed for the unproductiveness amongst the youths. Mr. Innocent Chanda.
While they deceive, we perceive our perceptions in our paths to redemption. Indeed, while there is no vision, the people perish. These words taken from Proverbs 29 verse 18 were
We show you how the face of Kasama has changed each and every moment. Our production crew has now advanced in streaming live in full HD up to 4K. Lono Studios is well equipped for the service. We have 4K cameras for high resolution, DJI drone for aerial view, live streaming video switcher, gimbal for smooth rotation of an object, and many more equipments. You can book us for live streaming to render your services in sport activities, church services, road shows, corporate meetings and workshops, social gatherings.
While they deceive, we perceive our perceptions in our paths to redemption. Indeed, while there is no vision, the people perish. These words often quoted by the late Archbishop Desmond Tutu. Mr. Moderator, honorable judges, my esteemed and worthy opponents, my colleague, ladies and gentlemen, a pleasant good evening. Tonight is both an honor and a privilege to propose the motion the government should be blamed for the unproductiveness of youths in the society. Affiliates of this session, indeed members of the auditorium. However, this motion is, however, extremely broad, and so the need to clarify the key terms is of paramount importance to this debate. According to the new revised Oxford Dictionary and, of course, Wikipedia, government is simply the body with the power to make and enforce laws to control a country, a land, an area, people, or an organization. To blame is simply to put a fault on someone. Unproductive, not effective in bringing something about. A youth is a person below the age of 35. Mr. Moderator, tonight, my colleague and I will carry you on a thought-provoking journey with 3 checkpoints. We will bring to your attention the major reason as to why we vehemently feel the government should be blamed for the unproductiveness of the youths. Secondly, we will enlighten you how the government are a contributing factor to youth and productivity in bringing in valid points. And lastly, we would draw attention even more closer by giving you checks and balances on what the government must do. To begin with, House of Intellectuals, indeed members of this auditorium, unemployment is the root cause of instability in our society, and the people who are mostly affected are the youths. House of Intellectuals, you will agree with me that the youths are the key stakeholders in any country. Now, if the key stakeholders are not employed, House of Intellectuals, that country will be deemed as a jeopardized, and idleness triggers forth vices. We must survive as we have basic needs that must be met. If there is no sustainable way of surviving, if the government is not providing jobs for the youths, then they will engage into vices which will lead them into crime and other vices which are not to be done in a country. House of Intellectuals, allow me to quote the data reported by the CEIC. In the latest report, Zambia's population reached 18.38 million in December 2020. And Zambia's unemployment rate increased by 12.17 in December 2020, as reported figure of 11.91% in December 2019. I repeat, the unemployment rate increased by 12.17% in December 2020, as reported figure of 11.91 in December 2019. House of Intellectuals, allow me to add fire to the already burning fire. According to Lusaka Times, dated March 17, 2020, begin of quotation, government must prioritize the creation of manufacturing industries which have potential to create youth employment. While this seems better, create youth employment. While this seems better said and done, it is not impossible for the government to accomplish this. House of Intellectuals, the same article continues, and I quote, in the modern Zambia, the youth unemployment rate have escalated to unprecedented levels. House of Intellectuals. House of Intellectuals, moving to the next point, which is entrepreneurship. Entrepreneurship is one way unemployment can be eradicated. House of Intellectuals, to show you that I'm a person who speaks from within and not from without, according to the Demographical Statistical Book of 2020, and I quote, if our government do have great visions for this country, they would have known that creating an enabling environment for entrepreneurs to thrive should be their core focus. End of quotation. House of Intellectuals, entrepreneurship should be included in the school curriculum. It should be included in the syllabi of these going school children, House of Intellectuals. But you'll find that in the educational system, the things that are taught are not even relevant, House of Intellectuals, and entrepreneurship is not boosted, House of Intellectuals, indeed, members of this auditorium. That drives me to the next point, which is another major problem which is causing the youth to become useless, rather say unproductive, is due to the educational system. You will agree with me that the educational system in our country is rotten beyond redemption, and mark the word, rotten beyond redemption, House of Intellectuals. You will agree with me that our educational system focuses much on the theory rather than practical. A student from Mulungushi University, there is 20 seconds. A student from Mulungushi University, House of Intellectuals, a student from Mulungushi University, House of Intellectuals, memorize all the theories, who memorize all the articles in his brain, but will perform foolishly when taken in the science laboratory. With these but convincing points, I say, I submit.
Indeed, the debate is just getting hot. Please let us give a round of applause to Mr. Innocent for those valid points. Of course, the government is to blame for the unproductiveness of among its youths in society. That is Mr. Innocent, bringing in, of course, so many points that he has talked about. What do you think, viewers? Is the government really indeed to blame for the unproductiveness amongst the youths in society? Tell us what you think in the comment section. And remember, do not forget to share this live stream so that it can reach more people. Right about now, a debate is not a debate if we do not have both sides airing their views. I'm going to invite the vice president from the government side to come and tell us what they have prepared for us in as much as they defend this motion. Right about now, I invite you, Mr. Agray, on this podium.
Like Hard put it in the beginning, I'm your vice president who is so patriotic and who wishes well the youth of this country. Quite all right. The immediate speaker might have brought out some points which sound to be valid, yet they are based on pseudoscience, meaning they don't have valid evidence. And I'm here to clarify and to show that indeed we, the government, we, the current regime, we are trying our best to ensure that our youths are productive. Hence, we are not to be blamed over the unproductiveness among the youths. What are some of the efforts the government has made in ensuring that our youths today are productive? To begin with, in 2020, on the 20th July, our government procured over $6 million USA special for Akakwacha. This was a youth empowerment. So I don't know why we are trying to blame the government over the unproductiveness among the youths. Secondly, through the current 2022 budget, we see that the government has released the 25 billion CDF fund. In the CDF fund, 25 billion, a certain part of the budget, a certain part of the 25 billion kwacha is special for the youths. So to claim that the youths are unproductive due to the government failure, it will really be weak and unsound. Secondly, as the government, we've taken some initiatives by establishing youth skills development centers, and some of which are here in Northern Province. I can give you some examples of the youth development centers which are in Northern Province. For example, we see a youth development center in Luingu. We see a youth development center in Milima. And these youth development centers are there to help our youths to heighten the skills of the youths. But despite all the efforts that have been made by the government, why are the youths still unproductive? First of all, youths are unproductive due to the lack of proper management and judicious use of the opportunities at hand. I had stated earlier, we empowered the youth with 6 million. How have the youth used the 6 million at hand? They have failed to judiciously, they have failed to properly use the funds which were given to them. Should we blame the government over their failure to utilize the resources at hand? Should we blame the government that the youths are productive because of the government due to their failure to utilize the resources at hand? Well, no. I tell you, the youth shouldn't be blamed. I tell you, it is not the government to be blamed, but the youth should be blamed over the unproductiveness. Secondly, what is dragging the youth towards the unproductiveness is the indecisiveness among the youths. Despite the youths being granted opportunities, for example, here in Kasama, first of all, youths were granted buses in 2016. Secondly, in 2020, youths were granted fuel tankers. Thirdly, youths were granted taxi. These empowerments were aimed at uplifting the living standards of the youths in our country, the living standards of the youths in all the provinces of Zambia. Yet, how have the youths utilized these empowerments? Due to their failure to decide, to know what they want to become, they have failed to utilize these opportunities well. Due to their failure to know their ambitions, due to their failure to know their goals, they have failed to take the opportunity at hand in a way that is judicious. Should we blame the government or should we blame the youths because of their hopelessness? Should we blame the government? No, the youths are hopeless. The youths are faithless. The youths are in despair. They're in boredom. The government shouldn't be blamed. We have made an effort and the evidence is here. Yet, they have failed to be decisive enough. They have failed to be responsible enough. Quoting Davis, responsibility means we are held accountable for our actions. In his book, which was written in 2009, page 57. But how responsible are our youths? We've provided what they need, yet they have failed to take responsibility over the resources we provided for them. So we should not blame the government over the unproductivity. The youths have to be blamed because they have failed to be responsible enough. I will further argue that my immediate speaker is from arguing that we have failed to employ the youth. Yes, the 2022 national budget is employing over 40,000 youths. 40,000 youths. So what are you trying to mean when you say the government is not providing employment for the youths? In the 3 months to come, youths will be employed. 40,000, more than 40,000. And yet you are claiming that the government is employing. It is really unsound and so weak and illogical to claim like that. I strongly argue that the youths are to be blamed because of their irresponsibility. The youths are to be blamed because of the high dependency on the government, despite the efforts we've made. The youths do not think in a way that is self-reliant. All they think of is what the government will do, for them, and not really what they will do for the government. It really calls for a change of mindset among the youths. Instead of thinking what the government will do for you, think about what you do for the government. Quite all right to provide the needed resources like we've been providing for you. But if you don't put in your efforts, if you don't put in your decisiveness, if you don't put in your hard work, if you don't put in your responsibleness, then we are not to be blamed as the government. We've provided a platform for productivity and economic development. Your failure is your failure. Take responsibility for your failure. I rest my...
Well. Is the government really to blame for the unproductiveness? Do you still think the government is to blame for the unproductiveness amongst the youths? Or Mr. Agre, the vice president, has just convinced you otherwise to say the government is not to blame? Tell us what you think in the comment section, and in the short while, we shall be reading your comments. Right about now, since the opposition running mate has spoken and the vice president has spoken, we shall invite interjections, questions, and of course, answers from both sides if there are any. Okay, we have an interjection from the opposition. Opposition running mate, Mr. Innocent.
House of Intellectuals, like I earlier alluded, I'll repeat what I said at first. Where there is no vision, the people perish. House of Intellectuals, there was no sensitization about that, the amount the immediate past speaker was referring to. He spoke about 6 million being released. House of Intellectuals, who benefited from that money? Isn't it cadres? Let us provide valid information, House of Intellectuals. The immediate past speaker, House of Intellectuals, talked about the plans that they have, that the current government have. House of Intellectuals, that has not been done. That's just a plan. The probability that it will be done is very slim. House of Intellectuals, let us not talk about let us talk facts and not fictions. Let us talk facts and not opinions. Let us talk facts and not something which has not been implemented.
Thank you. That is the opposition running mate posing a question to the government. And should we invite the president or the vice president to take this one? Okay.
To refute the statement which has just been articulated, first of all, I will quote Henry Todd. He says, life happens when you are busy making other plans. In that case, work involves, first of all, mapping, secondly, making, thirdly, meshing. So without plans, you are nothing. But these plans need to be actualized, that is making. You need to implement the plans. Then you need to mesh them. You need to develop from those plans which you are having, from the work which you are doing. Yet, the immediate speaker is saying that our plans are not yet implemented. They are there to be implemented. Should we not plan it because the plans are not yet implemented? We've made plans because we want to implement them. So to argue that there are only plans, it will not follow. There are plans because they will be achieved in 3 months to come. I promise you, citizens out there, youths out there, the plan is yours, the country is yours, productivity is there for you. It is up to you now to decide whether you want to be productive or not. Your failure to decide, your failure to take this opportunity.
Thank you, Vice President. That is the Vice President, and of course the President herself Her Excellency wishes to add to what the Vice President has just said. I invite you to the podium, Madam.
Thank you very much. Really, it's quite disappointing to know that in my country, I still have youths that think that unemployment is a thing to cry about. I think I can assure you, and I can give you this as a truth. Since 1964, there's been a cry for unemployment. And the question that I'll pose to you, the opposers, is what have those people that have been crying for unemployment achieved? It takes a thinker to really reason and come up with something that they will do for themselves. So I don't think my government is to blame for laziness, for the youth to be unproductive out there. I think everyone was born with a gift, and whatever gift that you have, if we look at most of the countries that have developed in the world, you will realize that 3/4 of them, it's because the youth have involved themselves into entrepreneurship and have put themselves into good use. So the excuse of saying, no, there's unemployment and what, I think not in my government. Thank you.
Thank you. That is indeed the president herself refuting the fact that unemployment should be used as an excuse for the unproductiveness amongst the youths. And right about now, I'm inviting the last but not the least interjection from the opposition leader.
It sounds funny. It sounds funny indeed. House of Intellectuals, our quote from the Zambia Daily Mail, dated 2005. It is the responsibility of the government to create a conducive environment that will promote and grow talent. Nobody is saying that the government should feed the youths. But as long as the government failed to create and provide an enabling environment that will promote talent, such a government is a failure and lack the basis to deem youths as being lazy. They lack the basis to call us youths as being lazy. If they cannot provide a suitable environment for them to of course thrive in their talent, House of Intellectuals, let the current president, House of Intellectuals, and its government create an enabling environment. First, and when the youths fail, then you and I will have a point to say, okay, youths are lazy. But when this does not happen, if this does not happen, then you and I, of course you too, should stop parading your ignorance. Thank you.
Thank you. That is indeed the opposition running mate saying the government hasn't provided enough a suitable space or environment for the youths to do what they are supposed to do. Hence, they shouldn't blame the youths for their laziness. What do you think, viewers? It's indeed the government to blame for the unproductiveness amongst the youths. Right about now, the debate is just starting. But before that, before I bring on the next speaker, let us go for a short break. And when we come back, I expect to see those comments coming in our inbox as we will get to read them. So let us go for a short break.
We show you how the face of Kasama has changed each and every moment. Our production crew has now advanced in streaming live in full HD up to 4K. Lono Studios is well equipped for the service. We have 4K cameras for high resolution, DJI drone for aerial view, live streaming video switcher, gimbal for smooth rotation of an object, and many more equipments. You can book us for live streaming to render your services in sport activities, church services, road shows, corporate meetings and workshops, social gatherings, and many more adventure activities. Book your session now on 0973-173461. Visit or like our Facebook page at Lono TV. Love ain't no bonus.
Love and nobleness is what we stand for as Lono TV. Remember to actually share this live stream to your platforms on Facebook as well as YouTube, and subscribe to our YouTube channel as Lono TV. Right about now, I'm going to go through some of the comments that you've been sending, and our first comment is coming from Mwila JR, who is saying the role of any government in the development of its citizen is creating an environment that is conducive for the thriving of its youths. of its citizens, rather. To some extent, our ability to thrive as citizens depends on the government. If the previous government have created this conducive environment, I write about we have the right to blame the government for our unproductiveness. Mufasa Zambia is saying, you see mwebantu innocent mukali now inakale. Okay, that is a remark for the running mate of from the opposition. And we have Humphrey Mulenga who is saying, tell them agree Lulu wapamesa. I got you, bro. Okay, we have Mastano Mkandawira who is saying, the stereotype Zambians have that only the connected benefit in reality is dangerous. What is a qualification for one to be connected? Either be a cadre or any connection. How does one qualify to be considered as connected? Elvis Chileshe is saying the VP Imwe has points which are valuable. We should not blame the government. Let us blame ourselves. And Mastano comes back and says, for us to blame the government, we need to know their responsibility on people who are aged between 16 and 35 years. What is the government's responsibility in regard with youths? Okay, Mufasa Zambia tags Humphrey Mlenga and says, either simple or how you take it, the way you dress depends on the resources that you have. Bill Gates dresses simple, but ask the cost of his clothes, then you will know that appreciating someone's appearance does no harm. Besides, this is modern world. You can dress simple and still be dumb. Okay. Lolanji Namwila is saying, Mr. Vice President, you have nailed it. Okay, thank you so much. And please tell us where you're watching us from. If you're watching us from Kasama, Lusaka, Ndola, wherever you're watching us from, please tell us. We have Leslie Daisy who is saying, this guy has points. I don't know which guy you are referring to. Please let us know. Okay, the debate continues. And right about now, I'm going to invite one last remark from the Vice President as we go on and invite the leaders from both sides. One last remark in 30 seconds. Sir, Mr. Vice President, I invite you to the platform.
The opposition leader talked about that the government doesn't provide suitable environment for productivity among the youths. I don't know what he's trying to mean by the term suitable environment or suitable conditions. May I ask the director please to showcase a picture showing some of the youth skills development centers, which are a critical example, very valid, very logical, that indeed the government is providing a suitable conditions and a suitable environment for youths to be productive, for youths to develop economically, for youths to be independent, for youths to be free in as far as productivity is concerned.
Okay. That was the Vice President requesting for a picture of some of the youth development centers, and I hope you viewers have been able to see it. Yes. So right about now, the debate is just getting started because we haven't heard from both leaders, from both the opposition and the government. And we are delighted today that we have ladies as leaders from both sides. And right about now, I am going to invite the opposition leader, who is no other than Madam Staffel Banda, to come and give us what they have as the opposition. Madam Staffel Banda, I invite you to the podium.
Thank you very much. To my running mates, thank you, and I'll pick it up from where you left. I'm very disappointed with this government because we have so many unproductive youths, and yet they are saying they've done enough. To begin with, I'll quote from the United Nations report on youth engagement. The responsibility for finding solutions to the problems affecting young people, such as in unemployment, low representation in political processes, and social exclusion, lies largely with governments. And with this, I'll start with education. Education being key at all levels needs to be accessible and affordable to everyone. But that is not the case in our country. According to Zambia Daily Mail, dated 9th April 2017, skyrocketing fees for families sleeping on less than $1 per meal became a hindrance for many young people who had dreams of going into higher education. It's just not 2017, as we are speaking right now, the dollar is quite high. So you can imagine those families that can't even afford a meal a day. How are they going to send their children to schools? Some will say yes, we'll bring in the loans. Current situation is worse, as only 2,481 youths, that's UNZA, out of the 10,682 that applied were granted loans. 1,040 from rural areas and 1,441 are from urban districts. So what happens to the rest? And jot down the number, 2,000 out of 10,682. And how many of these actually come from well-to-do families that are going to be able to pay a 19,000 per year? Okay. Some of these youths are the ones that become frustrated. Some try to make it, yes, but entrepreneurship right now is hard. And in rural setups, the odds are that life is already against them. They don't have a platform to express themselves. How many schools even have desks in rural areas? As we speak, you may say free education. Look at the quality of education that you are offering. Is it just not free? You have to look at the quality. Early marriages coming, teenage pregnancies, drug abuse. Right now we have so many cases of youths committing suicide on social media. Have you, the government, looked at why this is happening? It's because of the frustrations that are coming from youths. They are unable to get employment. The empowerment that you are talking about, how many youths benefited from it? We saw musicians, yes, benefiting from it. How many youths from Kasama actually got anything from that empowerment? Do you have proof that you can show that those youths actually did benefit? We only have cadres, the cadres that were in stations. I'll give an example of Zesco. Currently, a lot of people were fired. Why? Because those people did not have qualifications. Most of them got in there because of connections. And majority did not even have the skills. We'll look at community engagement of youth and sponsorship of recreational activities. I'll quote from the Zambian Daily Mail, where Zambia failed to fund Miss Universe to participate in the pageant. And yet you're saying that you are creating an environment for the youths. You failed to sponsor someone to go and represent your own country. She had to lobby for funds from local people. Then we're going to talk about employment policies regarding seasonal unemployment. We have a lot of companies that are offering internship. Have you and the labor office looked into why these interns are not paid? Most of them are using their own resources. And me depending on my own resources, and I'm just starting a life, that's a burden on my part. You're not creating a suitable environment for people to thrive and start working. Cadres of employment, while qualified youths are roaming the streets. And this is because of the environment that the government has set. It has given more respect to cadres than people that have been to school and gotten a skill to qualify and be able to use it to develop the community and the country at large. Okay. Then we talk about the education system. Most of the courses that are taught in these schools are irrelevant. Zambia is not offering technological aspects and studies to students and the youths at large. And this is what the job market right now needs, more than the shaka that we used to learn a long time ago, and that is still being taught in schools right now. Why are we not having IT being taught to these youth so that when they come out, they can use it? Even as you are saying, entrepreneurship, you are giving these funds. Someone doesn't have the skills. How do you just expect them to just, wake up and say, oh, I'm going to start doing this? Yes, there are those things that are easy to do, but you also need capital. Most of these youths are roaming because they do not even have a starting point. Okay. think I rest my case.
Yes, indeed, the opposition leader rests her case as she has brought out a number of points. I hope the government was able to catch on that so that they can give their remarks in as much as the opposition leader has spoken. And right about now, I invite to the podium the president herself to come and tell us why the government shouldn't be blamed for the unproductiveness amongst the youths. Madam President, I invite you to the podium.
Thank you very much, Mr. Moderator, and I just want to appreciate my opposition leader for being so precise, and I'm happy that you didn't bring out the points that I thought you would, because to start with, I will tell you what my government has done. Currently, my government has introduced the Ministry of Technology. The reason why I thought of introducing the Ministry of Technology is because I looked at how many youths have the ability to start something. I've seen a lot of youths, a lot of young boys and young girls that do some beautiful architecture work, maybe just something, and that thing looks so beautiful, but they've never had anyone to support them. That's why I thought of bringing the Ministry of Technology to help such human beings, to help such young people to start something. If they are picked, I'm sure you've seen on ZNBC, because I told my Minister of Broadcasting to start showcasing such talents that are being exhibited by most of the youths in the country. And I'll also remind you that, just like I said earlier, since 1964, my country got independence. I think youths have been complaining of unemployment. Wow. Those that have been complaining, what have they done about it? I know that I cannot give each and every youth employment, but I want those that have not had a chance to get employment to stand and start doing something on their own. I'll give you an example. Before I became the president, I was working for a certain parastatal company, but because I was not satisfied with the way I was working, I decided to quit my job so that I can start my own business. And trust me, it's because of my business that I've been doing that helped me to campaign. And here I am, I'm the president today. I didn't just sit down and wait until, no, the government has to do ABCD, the government has to do what? I just took it on my own because I do not have fear. Let me also put this point to you. Looking down on personal skills, I have put so many skill centers. I'll give you a typical example of here in Kasama. I have Lukasha Trades. Trust me, I've interacted with most of the youths in my country, and they tell me, no, Madam President, I cannot go and do bricklaying. No, Madam President, tetinja mkuchita carpentry. No, Madam President, I can't go and do agriculture. What do you expect me to do if I'm able to give you such skills at a very, very low price? Because right now I've even reduced for most of, if not all, except the private institutions, all my government institutions, I've reduced the fees. I don't know how you want me to help the youths. Another point that I'll put down here is introduction of the SMEs. The reason why my government introduced the Ministry of Small Medium Enterprises, because I want my youths, those that have been claiming, no, but President, empowerment and whatnot. I have put this ministry, and I have put reliable ministers, and I have a very, very reliable team that is going to make sure that every youth, as long as you present your own your PACRA documents, you present everything that is required for you to access that empowerment, I'll be able to give you. But if you bring papers that are not adequate, papers that are not enough for me to give you the empowerment, I will not. But I've given everyone an opportunity. I've not chosen this province, I've not chosen that province. I've put it plain for all the districts in my country so that my youths can access these funds. And then I also want to put out something that really breaks my heart as a president. Most of my youths are shallow thinkers. Most of my youths in this country, they do not want to think outside the box. It's really disappointing for my president, my fellow president actually, to say no, the government is not putting the right environment for the youth to thrive. Really, I really stand to disagree with that, because I have youths in Zambia that are very energetic. And trust me, if I told you today to go around, for example, today I'm in Kasama, I told you to go to Musenga. You want to tell me that those youths have never had an opportunity to go out there and do something. They've just been thinking shallowly. How can you be productive as a youth? You wake up, the only thing that you know is hold your phone. You start checking what is on your status. You start checking what Ben Lombe has posted. You want to check what Auntie Millie has posted. Yet, there are opportunities out there. You can't even get a simple paper. You put down that application, go and look for a job. Get a job as a shopkeeper. My youths don't want to do that. But instead, they'll start blaming me. No, our president, wakateka na waturekeresha, wakateka tavaleshtefo turefuaya. I really don't know how I'm going to help my youths in my country. But I'm going to do it because I am here to bring change. The other point that I want to bring to your attention is extreme laziness. This point is something that even the viewers there would agree with me. 3/4 of the youths in my country are lazy. They are waiting to be spoon-fed. It's sad that in the past regime, youths were being used to just, you make sure that you just go out there, you shout, hey, nipali ba Angie, hey, nipali ba Angie. Then wakwata motachi. Not in my government. In my government, I expect every youth to put in their best, to put their foot down, to get to work, to start doing what they're supposed to do. Not just to wait and say, no, but President, waka to change. I cannot come to your home to come and tell you, please wake up, Madam Banda, let's go to the Ministry of Health, put down your application, do what. I'm not going to do that. So because of extreme laziness, my youths are out there being so unproductive. Another point that I want to bring to your attention, members of this beautiful auditorium, is fear, as my last point. Umwenso. A lot of my youths in my country are scared of taking a leap. A leap is where maybe you're standing on the edge of a mountain and you're just about to fall. Why can't you just tell yourself, okay, yes, contracts na kwete ya lipwa. Gratuity vampela. I'm going to use this gratuity and start a business. The first thing that will come to your mind is, if I start this business, I will fail. I'm giving myself as a typical example then before I became president, because I started my business. It's been small, but I've been trusting the process because I don't have fear. I have the ability to go out there, market myself, make sure that customers come to my place. I make sure that I put in my very best. And that's what I'm appealing to my youths out there. I'll give another example of Lono TV. Lono TV is one of the studios in Kasama that has brought change. Trust me, if the director for Lono Studios had fear to say, Kasama nkumushi, tutukwanisha ifchama live TV, tabakachupokelele, are you telling me, my dearest viewers, that would have had this opportunity to have something like this in Kasama? But because they didn't have fear, they had a greater picture. They were looking at the bigger vision. That is why we are here today, and it's something that we are enjoying and appreciating. So I want to urge my youths out there. That fear that you have put, it's not going to take you anywhere. It's not going to make you anywhere productive. I'm urging those that have finished their studies, whether you're at university or college, my dear girl child, my dear boy child, make sure that you just push yourself, start up something. Don't wait until you have 10,000 to start that business. Remember that you can start that business by selling that phone, that smartphone that you have. I have typical examples of youths in my country, like a certain a certain man in Newtown who started his business after selling his small phone. Right now, he has a very, very big shop. So why should you blame the government when you actually, on your own, you are already a capital? So please, try to think twice. And I believe that with this new government that I'm running, the youth are going to thrive, and we're going to take Zambia forward. I submit.
Powerful indeed, powerful points from the President herself, Her Excellency Madam Angela Chewe, bringing on the points why the government shouldn't be blamed for the unproductiveness amongst the youths. They are saying, if you have a smartphone, sell that smartphone. It is already capital for you to start a business, and don't wait on the government to do everything for you. Okay, so we have our all speakers spoken. What do you think, viewers out there? Is the government really to blame for the unproductiveness amongst the youths? What do you think? We shall read your comments. Please keep sending and keep sharing this live stream so that it can reach so many others. The opposition are saying they have so much to say. And right about now, I'm going to invite someone from the opposition to come and rebuttal what the president just said.
House of intellectuals, indeed members of this auditorium. A certain philosopher once said, a certain philosopher by the name of Aristotle, common sense is not common to common commoners. Affiliates of this session, indeed members of this auditorium, how can you start doing something when the tax rate is increasing day by day? House of intellectuals, don't view this from a more broader perspective. View the word unproductive from a more broader perspective. Don't view it from people who stay just within Kasama. Don't view it from just people who stay in Lusaka and in other urban areas. View it from also rural areas. Out to House of intellectuals, someone wants to start a business staying in Mulobola. House of intellectuals, the same little capital that particular person has will be used as transport. What will that person benefit? House of intellectuals, that transport. House of intellectuals, just moving from here to Lusaka is over 400 kwacha. House of intellectuals, someone wants to move House of intellectuals and do a business. How is that person going to do with that? House of intellectuals, someone is farming in Mulobola and wants to bring his or her goods here in Kasama. House of intellectuals, indeed members of this auditorium, how is he going to bring those goods here if the tax rate is increasing on a daily basis, if the road tax is increasing on a daily basis? Let us be factual and not talk about things which are not.
Thank you. That is the running mate from the opposition saying, indeed, someone may want to start their business and sell their phone perhaps, but then just moving from one place to another to get their goods, they have to use so much transport plus so much tax that they have to pay. What is the government going to say about that point? I invite
It's indeed very sad to note that a viable youth like you, Mr. Running Mate from the opposition party, is actually bringing a point like that. The reason why I made the taxes have gone high, I'm sure you are aware that Zambia has a lot of debt that I need to pay. The debt I did not get myself, but I found it and I had to make sure that I clear it for the betterment of you. The reason why I did that is because, the reason why the tax has increased is because I've removed subsidies from the fuel and ZESCO units. It's for the betterment of this beautiful country. You're saying somebody from Mulobola, Shafoni, and they don't know how to get to this place. The problem that my youth have in the country is that they do not want to use the local resources. Just because you are in Mulobola, the only thing that you're thinking of is, I need to go to Full Best and get perfumes and come and sell in Mulobola. How about using the local resources that are in Mulobola to start something? The problem is that people are afraid of using their natural resources to start up something. Kumulobola kwa aliwe mimana. Why can't you just come and buy washtama fish nets? Why am kulo besabi? Ngawalo besabi washtisha. What is wrong with that? The problem is that you want to start a business, you do not have enough capital, and the only thing you are thinking of, you are coming from Mulobola. Are you serious? With what capital? But what about starting with something that is within your area? And then you bring you sell your merchandise. Please.
Thank you. That is the Madam President, and of course the opposition leader has something to say about what the president has just said. I invite to the podium Madam Opposition Leader Staffel Banda.
Madam President, she said you used your local resources. Once kumulobola nga twashitama fish nets twambo kulobesa bitukashitisha banani bakashitesa. You still have to come back into town. You still have to use transport. Transport has gone high. Fuel prices have gone high. You equally need these other things. Cooking, or there are some things that you can access, yes, from Mulobola. You use the local resources, but most things, for example, school fees, we're still coming back to school fees. They need to pay for their university students. Yes, they said free education, quite all right. But have you noticed that these schools will give you free education, but increase on these other requirements that you need? So it's equally coming back to the same amount that you needed to pay for these fees. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. That is the opposition leader telling us to say it's not everybody who can use the local resources, and over time, indeed, these things will become so many. And of course, people will need to go out and sell them out there, and transport is just too high. What do you think, viewers out there? Is indeed the government to blame for the unproductiveness amongst the youths? I have a defense from the vice president himself.
I'm wondering why the blame on the government has prolonged and it is continuing. And the opposition leaders are arguing that fact. When we claim that the people either in Mulobola or in Kasama or in Lusaka or whatever place should use the natural resources that are there, should use the local resources, we are not only limiting the thing to fishing, no. We are not only limiting the thing to agriculture. We are talking of farming here. We are talking of plants that do not require fertilizer. We have sweet potatoes, kandolo, bambingatamu, white sungu. We have people who can plant tomatoes. We have people who can plant vegetables. We have people who can venture into poultry farming. We have people who can venture into piggery. So when we say we should use the local resources, we're not trying to mean it is only fishing. And when I propose the taking advantage of the piggery, the poultry farming and all that, the government is there to provide funds for you. The government is there to empower you. So we should not continue blaming the government. We are here to provide the conditions which are suitable for you to be productive. Venture into productivity, venture into entrepreneurship. I submit.
Thank you so much. That is Okay, we have so many rebuttals coming through, but before I allow any of those, allow me to go through some of the comments that you've been sending, and one is coming from one Humphrey Mulenga, who is saying, I respect your perspective, bro. It's two-way thing, okay? And Humphrey continues and said, honestly, Kasama has been very dormant in terms of talent showcasing due to many reasons, and one of those reasons is it's because of poor support by our government, who seem not to just care about the district. So personally, I feel we should not depend so much on the government, hence work on ourselves and put Kasama on the map and prove our worthiness to the world by ourselves, like Lono TV is doing. It's because we are the ones who feel the pain of 0.1 pace development when other districts are booming. That is Mr. Humphrey saying, contributing to this debate. And allow me to just go through some of the other comments that have come through. And I have one from Rebecca Waliachewe, who's saying, Angela Chewe, Madam President, nailed it. Thank you so much. That goes to the President herself. And we have Elvis Chileshaw saying, with those powerful points from my very own President herself, Her Excellence Angela Chewe, everyone is fully convinced that government should not be blamed, including the opposition themselves. I highly doubt that, because the opposition have something to say, even as I read this point. Mwila is saying, living in a world where most of us youths spend most of our irreplaceable lifetime watching streams of ourselves, meals of virtual friends, and lifestyle of public figures, we must blame ourselves as much as we blame the government. And Lolanji Namwila is saying, indeed, the government should not be blamed for youths being unproductive. I think of, okay, one more comment from Comfort Macy Cheo saying, Angela is right. It is time for us youths to stand up, be independent, not always waiting for the government to do things for us. We will die with hunger. I have never seen the president or cabinet members coming to buy Milli Meal or Zesco units when we lack. So let's stop blaming, but work hard. Okay. Thank you so much. And right about now, I'll invite the opposition leader to come and give us a rebuttal in as much as this motion is concerned.
Okay, thank you. I'll slightly move away from the resources. I'll go back to where the subsidies have been removed. Madam President, do you have, or perhaps, do you know that as we stand right now, a bag of fertilizer stands at 900 kwacha? And how many villages and villagers are going to be able to afford, I don't know how many bags they will need for their maize or whatever they are growing. And for those goods that do not, need fertilizer, there are things like spray and other things that will be needed. And where are these people going to get those resources from? And then removing of subsidies, this was done, to pay back the debts. The money that was gotten to fund your own political regalia, your own political campaigns. And in these campaigns, the governments used the same youths that they are saying are lazy to do violent things, destroy, vandalism, and yet they're coming back to blame the same youths that they used to put them in power. I rest my case.
Okay. I will now invite the president herself. And when you defend your point, you are the government, regardless of where we are coming from. You are the government.
Interesting. My darling opposition leader. Okay, maybe to start with, before I come to your question, I just want to remind your vice president that blaming the youths, blaming the government to say no to because government. I'll give you a typical example of a local an NGO in Kasama called Northern Youth Rise Up and Shine. These are the youths, my youths, that have come up with their own ideas on how they can put Kasama on the map. And if you check on Facebook, you'll realize that Ndola is doing awards. They've never had anything like what we had here. And trust me that they are doing it because of my youths that are productive. My youths that want to see change. My youths that want to see a difference in Kasama. My youths don't want to go to Lusaka to go and do Ifyama awards. They want to do it locally. So please, stop blaming my government for doing that. And Madam President, you said I bought regalia. I'm new in this government. Government yandi kwete for 3 months. We're now 4 months in State House, and you want to accuse me that I bought regalia? You're joking. But let me tell you, the reason you brought up a point to say Mafama is Valach Tashan. I think you saw that I gave out the fertilizers to those that are qualified. I gave out to cooperatives that were qualified to get the fertilizers and the seeds and the chemicals. So I don't even know how you're blaming my government to say no, Wakari Mashan. I think they are all aware and they are doing fine.
Thank you. That is the president herself defending why the government shouldn't be blamed for the unproductiveness. And as we are concluding this debate, let us go for a short break. And when we come back, we conclude with our debate. Please remember, before we go for the break, tell us who you think has fared so well on this debate. Is it the opposition or rather the government? Tell us who has won, because you are the judges for this debate. Who has fared so well? Do not just look at what is right, but look at their points, understand their delivery, and all that. You are the judges. Tell us, is it the government or the opposition? Right about now, let us go for a break, and when we come back, the debate continues.
We show you how the face of Kasama has changed each and every moment. Our production crew has now advanced in streaming live in full HD. We show you how the face of Kasama has changed each and every moment. Our production crew has now advanced in streaming live in full HD up to 4K. Lono Studios is well equipped for the service. We have 4K cameras for high resolution, DJI drone for aerial view, live streaming video switcher, gimbal for smooth rotation of an object, and many more equipments. You can book us for live streaming to render your services in sport activities, church services, roadshows, corporate meetings and workshops, social gatherings, and many more adventure activities. Book your session now on 0973 173461. Visit or like our Facebook page at Lono TV. Love ain't no bonus.
And nobleness is what we stand for as Lono TV. Our debate was hot, and I must appreciate both the opposition and the government for their effort in terms of researching this debate. Now, away from the debate is done, and I said, you are the judges. Tell us who you think has won this debate in as much as their performance is concerned. Of course, away from the debate, I would like to welcome... Okay, we begin with the government. Mr. Innocent, sir, what is your view on this debate? Your honest opinion on this debate?
A pleasant good evening once again to you, our dear viewers, wherever you might be watching us. And thank you very much for staying glued. Okay, the motion was very clear. And of course, I think you've learned a lot. You've learned a lot about the motion. The government should be blamed for the unproductiveness of youths in the society. Our dear viewers, I think away from the debate, it's a 50-50 thing. The government, the youths. If you're not putting in effort, the government will not put in effort as well. So it's a 50-50 thing. So for as much as the government is trying to help you, for as much as the government is trying to help us, let us, of course, put in our level best and, of course, thrive in what we want to do. But the major is the government. Of course, the government must provide a suitable and sustainable environment.
Yes, so Mr. Innocent, what do you mean when you say a suitable and sustainable environment?
I will talk about the suitable. When I talk about a suitable environment, I will bring back a point I brought in when I raised the point to say someone from the rural area coming here to the urban area, let's say to order something, the tax, that's what I'm talking about. That's not a suitable area for people in rural areas. So the government...
So the government must reduce on the tax?
The government must reduce on the tax to provide a suitable environment. That's basically what I mean when I say a suitable environment.
Okay, thank you so much, Mr. Innocent. And I'll invite the opposition leader. Away from the debate, what is your honest opinion about today's motion?
Thank you very much to the viewers. Thank you for staying glued. And my honest opinion is that it's still, just as my running mate said, it's 50-50.
Okay.
But there are a lot of youths that at this point have a lot of plans that they have tried, even reaching out, to stakeholders and they haven't yet gotten back a response. So equally, the government has a responsibility at hand to try as much as it is reaching out at a large scale, try and minimize, perhaps form smaller groups that can reach even to the youths that are very far in the villages and all that stuff.
Okay.
I did a research way back on SMEs, and as we are doing the research, these are very small business people.
Yes.
And the moment you just approach them, they want to run away because they think you are coming from ZRA.
Okay.
Meaning ZRA was taxing them, or perhaps what they were paying to ZRA was kind of a hindrance on their business to grow and thrive. Most of these SMEs just remained at one level. And
so what should be done, Madam Staffel Banda? What needs to be done? What should the government do? Yes, you may go on.
Yeah, just like I said, they should try to reach as many youths as they can, so that a lot of youths have plans, okay?
Okay, yes.
Yes, and the voice of the youth has to be heard.
Sure.
Yeah, so I think that's the plan. Hear the voice of the youth, and then you know what the youths want, and you help from there. Okay,
what should the youths do perhaps before you just sit down? What is the job of the youths in this fight?
They should wake up, look smart, and try by all means to thrive, because no one is going to come and lift you up. Apply. Don't get tired applying. Don't get tired of writing that business plan. Lobby for funds as much as you would want to give up now, don't give up because no one is going to, come and feed you and all that stuff.
Okay, thank you so much. Thank you so much. And I'll invite Mr. Vice President. And Mr. Vice President, what is your honest opinion away from the debate?
From what the previous speakers have said, it's a 50-50 thing.
Okay.
Both the government and the youths are to be blamed. So I will begin by saying, what should the government do?
Sure.
First of all, the government should combat corruption. Most of our leaders today are concerned with fattening their pockets. And if you're concerned with fattening your pockets, what's the future of the youths? The future is in us, the youths. We are the leaders of today and tomorrow. So our leaders should wake up. Our leaders should think in a way that is communitarian, not in a way that is individualistic. Otherwise, individualism is leading us to poverty and poverty. Hence, we the youths are becoming more poorer and the poorest. It needs change on part of the government. Corruption should be combated at all cost. Okay. Either you have connections or not, you need to be empowered. What should the youths do?
Yes.
First of all, I should say the youths need to be decisive over what they want to do. Youths need to know what they want to do. Youths need to come up with plans to map their ambitions, to map their goals. But that is not enough. You can plan, but if you do not work hard, then it brings out to nothing. I will quote our forefather Kenneth Kaunda in his book entitled Humanism. He says, work is a necessary activity for the life and welfare of the individual in the society. Work is the key to the future of Zambia. Without work, there can be no wealth. Man has therefore to organize himself to produce wealth through hard work by himself or collectively with others. Hence, in as much as we are decisive, we need to work. Without work, we are nothing. Without work, we will not have wealth. We don't really need to depend on the government so much. We need to have a mindset that is of self-reliance, a mindset that can wake us up instead of depending too much on the government. But we need to work hard. We need to be productive enough despite the little environment has been provided for us.
Okay, thank you so much. Thank you so much. A round of applause for him. All right, and last but not the least, I'll invite the president herself to come and give us her honest opinion in as much as this debate is concerned.
Thank you very mumuch. Firstly, I want to appreciate my vice president.
Okay.
His English is actually saving me a lot. He speaks very good English such that Nanguba President Wafirufianya, it's being covered.
Very audible.
Yeah. So, firstly, I want to say something. I think last year, as the former government was winding up, I saw youth empowerment being given to most of the local youths here in Kasama.
Sure.
And it's, sorry to use this word, but it's quite disgusting how they misappropriated and misused those funds.
Yeah.
You know, I'm an MC. Sometimes I'm found in the club because I'm doing my work there.
Yes.
And I would see a Look, if the government has given you that opportunity, trust me, if I was given even just a 10 pin today to say, Angela, add this on your business, okay, papa. Because I have a vision. I have a very big vision. I know where I want to go.
Yes.
So I want to urge the youth, because this is going on right now. The youth empowerment, the CDF fund, they are all in the process right now.
Yes.
If you do not have a vision, I wish I was among those people that are selecting. Don't give people that do not have a vision. They are just wasting government resources.
Okay, and what is your take on Mr. Nonde SK who is saying, I disagree that the government is to blame for the unproductiveness among its youth in society. We cannot always stone the government for the unproductiveness of many youths in our country. Failure of many youths starts in the mind and it manifests into the physical. It's always to see the youths that complain that government has neglected them, whereas they find money to buy alcohol, cigarettes, and hooking up with prostitutes. Youths are their own enemy of unproductiveness and lack of development. Okay, what's your take on that?
Precisely. This man has put it very clearly. imisepeleshingi ichale ngati belapa ntashimula ndi wakwangala amangalo. Some of them apanga babapela na my youth empowerment. Chance yako ya kusamfya. They will forget that they have bakaya kusamfya rain season. They will not even enjoy the beach because yakulalo came full. But because view on a lunch, that's the time now they will feel okay. First in there kusamfya. Unja konda ku Livingstone, Victoria Falls. They will forget the actual use for the money. So youth should be wise. Please, those people that are responsible for giving a man and kani, please, if you can, mukabaskana babantu. Beko na ole mpiasha government.
Sure,
And
and what? Yes.
The government, okay, banje batembweke shepo. Abantu abaleshta select abakupelwa ama empowerment. If possible mukabaskane, mukabafunyepo beko na ole mpiasha buteko.
Okay.
So now
The government
I love my
now.
director.
What is the government's role in
I
this
love my director,
fight?
Sajo. He's very supportive.
Sure.
Okay, now, the government, I think the government has a very huge role to play because the government is the one that provides a viable environment that will help the youth to thrive well. Because trust me, if the government does not bring up incentives or ideas on how a youth can how do they put it to use? I think the government should realize that it's not just a matter of giving the funds, it's also a matter of educating those that want to get the funds. Small business plan for ideas, but they don't know how to put it on paper. And it's the role of the government to come up with ideas. How do we help these youths? Come up with like a short seminar. Even 8 to 11, if you're scared of giving a lunch. Give them just an idea on how they can run a business, how they can start up a business, and those that are already in business, how they can actually grow. So the government needs to make sure that they put up a very suitable environment for the youth to thrive well.
Okay, thank you so much. Thank you so much, Madam President. And allow me to just go through some of the comments that you've been sending in as much as this debate is concerned. And one comment is coming from Honorable Mukuka Jackson, now always saying, if you say the government is to blame for the unproductiveness of the youths, then you are just lazy. Creativity and innovation doesn't know government. Let's stop having a dependency syndrome and convince ourselves that government owes us anything close to productivity. And Evans Elvis Chileshe is saying, considering the valuation of points from Excellence Angela Chewe, the government has won. Okay, that is to you, the government side. Yes. The government has won, and the opposition leader, looking at the VP's points, were awesome too. Law, it's hard to judge. Lastly, congratulations to all the panelists and to the presenter at large. Thank you so much. Didi Diana is calling on Pedro Jackie Sampao is selling of vegetables and tomatoes starts with only 20 kwacha. Of course, she's responding to somebody. So you don't need a lot of money to start a business. You need just whatever you have. And we have a comment from Brookis Jr. I hope I've pronounced your name right. Brooks Jr., who is saying the endemic threat lies from foreign governments. Zambia claims to be a Christian country, then follow the commandments. Zambia needs to free themselves from the threat that is China. Also, youths are to blame as well. Too many lazy boys. Rise up and be a man. And if everyone takes a knee, then God will bless you all. Thank you so much. Then down here we have Nonde. I think I've read this one. Then we also have Mary Chilesha, who is saying interesting. Thank you so much. And we have Humphrey. I think I've read this comment. And we have Pedro Sampa, who is saying, President Chewe, that point you brought to light that someone should sell his or her phone is not convincing. So I am kindly asking you to pinpoint some of the businesses that someone should venture into when the phone is sold at 100 kwacha or 50.
I think the response has come from the previous message that you read, that you can actually start a business with the 20 kwacha.
Okay, thank you. And Mr. Handru Mindset Mukuka is saying, I think the points from the government made me convinced or believe that the government is doing fine, but in the actual sense, government is the major contributor of poverty due to lack of mindset campaign. So indeed, you would take over kwa mano kuchita educate ama youths, coming up with seminars like she said to educate youths on how to go about this. Because honestly, yes, the youth empowerment is there, but only those who know how to write, those who know how to put up papers will get that empowerment. A woman in location market, a young girl who cannot even write an application, who cannot even write a single sentence in English, will not access that fund because they can't write a proposal. So if these people were to help in a certain way, that would actually help. I hope somebody in these offices is able to get these comments. Okay, there are some few comments. Okay, Madam, okay, Mr. Agray, your conclusion as we even wind up with this debate. We should take in as much as they are helping. We have heard of the youth empowerment that has come up. What would you love to see done compared to how youth empowerment was handled in the previous years?
First of all, the youth empowerment funds should be put at the disposal of the youths. There should be transparency and accountability. Quite all right, the government has done enough. They have empowered the 6 million and all that. But how many youths have benefited from that? It's youths with connections. So the government needs to be accountable and transparent in as much as they continue with the empowerment.
Okay. Mr. Innocent, the youth empowerment was announced last week. What would you love to see done differently compared to how the youth empowerment fund was handled in the previous years?
I would try and borrow the two terms the previous speaker used, transparency and accountability.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, thank you so much. And another comment, I think I didn't read this one, from Mary Chileshe saying, well done, Madam President. And Pedro Sampai saying, I can firmly affirm that the government has contributed immensely to the unproductiveness of the youths because of the promises they made during political campaigns. In a logical perspective, this government was fallacious to assert that all youths would be given an empowerment and would be given employment once they were in power. And today they are in power and they start evading what they pledged. Madam Chair, we have youths who have accumulated tertiary papers and they are looking forward to get employment in government, seeing that they have changed, invested in education, okay, their change was invested in education, which I would deem their business. Okay, Madam Chewe, what's your take on that one?
Where's the comment?
In short, is saying some of the youths invested in education. They have attained their papers and they expect the government to employ them. Yeah. So that is business, or that is capital to them. Okay. They are waiting for employment.
Okay, so now what's my take as a president?
Yes.
I can advise. I think I heard you say the government pledged what they wanted to do for the people.
Yes.
But thereafter, they're trying to, divert from what they said?
Yes.
I think I would say it's too early to blame the new government.
Okay.
It's quite too early. These guys are less than 5 months in office. And obviously, you don't expect them to do miracles right now, because they have a lot of homework to do. They have a lot of mess to mop, to clean. So just give them a little bit of time. Of course, yes, you will have invested into education, and trust me, you're going to get the rewards because it's coming. We should believe in them, and let's give them a chance. Let's not judge them already.
All right, yeah. All right. Madam Staffel, somebody has invested in education, but the fact is that the government will not employ everyone. No matter what we might think, this year it's not everyone who will be employed. The 35,000 teachers, we have over 65,000. So the government will only employ half of the number, if not just a quarter. And somebody saying they have invested in education, they have paid a lot of money to acquire papers and they need work. What's your take on that one?
Okay, investing in education is not a wrong investment, and you
Okay.
don't just invest in education to get employed. You invest in education to get a skill, to get knowledge that you can use to do other things. And this knowledge is what is actually going to push you, you know, to reach other levels. You just don't get an education to sit on a desk for the rest of your life. Yeah, so. that's my
Okay. Thank you so much. Thank you so much wisdom coming from our panelists today. And unfortunately, this is where we have to end with our debate. For those whom I haven't read their comments, okay, we have Madrin Kikuka who is saying, we can't blame the government. I think I didn't read this one. We can't blame the government for our failures because Umulema can do farming or piece works. Why can't you, a youth, do the same? Why depend on the government? Learn to sweat for your sweets. And Emma Mix Chilo is saying, loving the segment. Keep up the good work. Thank you so much, Miss Emma. Okay. We also have Betty Chombabwalia who is saying the government is not to blame for youth unproductiveness because it takes responsibility for oneself. Okay, Mufasa. Okay, I think most of these I have read. The latest comment and the last one for today coming from Patrick Lungu who is saying in Zambia youth empowerment is given to people who are above 35 years and only those with connection. Okay. I guess we should try this year. So my encouragement to you, Mr. Patrick Lungu, is try to apply this year so that you can come and ukubashinina. Yeah, write up a proper business plan, follow the procedures for youth empowerment, then see what happens. Then I guess we can come and taste on this platform that Patrick Fishinka. Okay, so in the spirit of fair play, I believe most of our panelists do something. It is a high time you told the people what you do, what they should follow you for, and all that as we conclude with today's debate. We'll start with Mr. Agre. Please tell the people, say goodbye, shout out to anybody out there who was watching you, and all that in 30 seconds.
Thank you so much for watching and listening to this debate. It has been quite wholesome. We've learned a lot, and we will continue informing and inspiring others. You will find me on AgriWaps. That's my page. Thank you so much. Have a good night.
What do you do, Mr. Agre? What do you do?
I recently graduated with a degree in philosophy from the Catholic University of Malawi.
Thank you. A round of applause for him. From the University of Malawi, that is Mr. Agre. Yes. Okay, so moving on, we shall move on with the president. Tell us what you do, what should people follow you for? Yes. Madam President, go ahead.
Salutation to my director, sir.
Okay.
Thank you very much. I'm Angela Chewe. I'm a business lady. I have a restaurant. I cook. I deliver food. My restaurant is in Chukumanino Market, but if you make an order na ngunku location to Aisatatu Avalezi.
That is in Kasama, specify.
Yes, specifically in Kasama. Even in Lualuo, we can still deliver. You can ask Lono TV. They've tested my food, and it's awesome. Apart from that, I'm also an event organizer and planner. I can plan your event from start, seeing it to the end, until Mwayanga and Kwani Mwaya. That's what I do. And most especially, I'm a director of ceremonies. In layman's language, I'm an MC. So if you're looking for a very vibrant female MC,
That is
you
the
have
president.
yeah. You don't have you don't have to look anywhere else. It's Angela here, and remember to support girl child. Remember to support a woman like me who is raising a son. I'm raising a man alone, so you guys need to put in my support. And I just want to appreciate all my customers. Those that eat from my restaurant, those that support me morally, those that support Nairas, those support. I just want to appreciate you. Oh, I forgot one thing.
Okay.
Yes. I also have an organization. I'm an assistant director for Northern Youth Rise Up and Shine, an organization that I run alongside my very best friend, Justin Wansachongoke. I don't know if you're watching, but Nimbikakoke. Yeah.
Okay.
So, yes, you can follow our page on Facebook. That's Northern Youth Rise Up and Shine. If you want to see change in the youths in Kasama, you need to follow this page. If you have ideas out there and you don't know where to go to make sure that whatever you feel about seeing change in Kasama is concerned, we are the right people to come to. We are the right people to talk to. And if you want to call, you can call me or you can call Nairas on 0978-857284. That number applies to everything.
Okay, I guess an MC can never stop speaking. Is that your number, by the way?
Yes, that's my number, and that's a number for Nairas, for Jasmine's Mateveto, for event planning, MCing, everything.
Okay, so they can call you.
They can call me at any time. I'm single.
Yeah, you heard it right. The vice president is single, so the number has been given to you. That is the wonderfulness about this platform. Okay, others will find soulmates here. Okay, so moving on to Mr. Innocent. Where can people find you? What do you do?
Okay, good evening once again to our viewers out there. Those of you who are still glued to Lono TV, thank you very much for staying connected. Chanda Innocent is my name, as Elia alluded. I'm a radio presenter, a radio announcer, a newscaster at Radio Tanda. Okay, so when you search on Facebook, Sky Innocent Chanda, you'll find me on Facebook, then we get to interact like that.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. And last but not the least, I can even go through some of the comments. We have one comment from Pedro, who's commending the opposition. That for me, the opposition has won. Okay. Okay, so I think the debate about who has won, I'm also puzzled a little bit because both sides performed really well. And last but not the least, Madam Staffel, tell us what you do, where people should find you, and if you are, please go on.
No, I'm not single.
All right.
Yeah. So, my name's Astafio Panda, a degree holder in development studies with demography from the University of Zambia. Currently doing business. We do sell nurses, uniforms, scrubs, scissors, all those things related to nursing and stuff. Yeah.
Where are you selling this from?
From home.
Okay, where is home? Kasama, Lusaka? Where exactly?
Home is in Kasama. You can reach me using my Facebook page, just Tafel Banda.
Okay. Yeah, thank you so much. Thank you so much. All right. So much productivity amongst the youths that we've had on this panel. And in the spirit of fair play, we can shake hands even as we close with the program. Yes, of course. Yeah, but okay, for Corona's sake, we will not allow hugs.
Great job. Thank you. Great job too.
Okay. All right, so in case you are somebody out there who wishes to be on this platform, all you have to do is simply inbox us. Send us an inbox if you are available in Kasama, because that is where our studios are located. Please just inbox us and tell us to say you'll be available on Tuesday, 19:30 hours, so that we get to invite you on this platform. And I guess this is where we end with today's debate. Thank you so much for watching. In case you are wondering who won this debate, I think we'll give it a 50-50. Yes.
We show you how the face of Kasama has changed. each and every moment. Our production crew has now advanced in streaming live in full HD up to 4K. Lono Studios is well equipped for the service. We have 4K cameras for high resolution, DJI drone for aerial view, live streaming video switcher, gimbal for smooth rotation of an object, and many more equipments. You can book us for live streaming to render your services in sport activities, church services, road shows, corporate meetings and workshops, social gatherings, and many more adventure activities. Book your session now on 0973 173461. Visit or like our Facebook page at Lono TV. Love ain't no bonus. Lono Studios cares about your memories, and what better way to keep your memories than having pictures and videos. As Lono Studios, we cover events such as weddings, kitchen parties, chilanga mulilo, birthday parties, as well as corporate events. If you are looking for quality pictures and videos for such events, look no further than Lono Studios. Visit and like our Facebook page at LonoZM. Lono Studios cares about your memories, and what better way to keep your memories than having pictures and videos. As Lono Studios, we cover events such as weddings, kitchen parties, chilanga mulilo, birthday parties, as well as corporate events. If you are looking for quality pictures and videos for such events, look no further than Lono Studios. Visit and like our Facebook page at LonoZM.